Today on the Morning Edition, embracing winter. We have the snowiest January on record and plenty of snow to play or work in or both. Find out how some are making the best of the snowfall. Plus, when there's well over a foot of snow on the ground, what would you prefer, the snow or a deep cold? So cold that it hurts to breathe. We asked some of those from the interior what they prefer. We'll share what we learned. And later, Texas saw ice and snow, and for one family, it was a huge blessing as they immediately hopped outside, strapped on their ice skates, and turned their neighborhood streets into a homemade ice rink for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We'll slide around them as the Morning Edition starts now. Waking up this morning, Matthew School District Region 6 is out, but so far it seems like the rest of the district and other districts are back in school today. On my drive, I noticed that at least the roads that I drive were a lot better today than they were yesterday. So yeah, of course we had that record-breaking snow, and a lot of those impacts are still lingering. Bailey, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, those impacts include some of those roads like you had just mentioned. On my morning commute this morning, it wasn't too great, and you know, those roads were pretty empty, so it's important to know that as you wake up this morning, as you head out the door, give yourself extra time because these roads are still treacherous in a lot of these areas, especially as you look into Matsu. Now, right along the Glen Highway, you can see a lot of ice still lingering on these roadways, and temperatures are significantly below freezing right now. So just brace for more of that warming and freezing pattern as these temperatures reach above 30 as we get through this week. It's going to be relatively warm this week. Again, those temperatures will be in the mid-30s, especially in Matsu. But for Anchorage, these temperatures will climb into the 30s for today. But through the week, they'll drop back down to the 20s. But across the town right now, of course, the airport's still the warmest area at 19 degrees. And as we get towards Midtown, more into the teens. But again, these temperatures will be on the climb as we get through today. For your hourly forecast, we'll rise up into those 20s as the morning progresses. But then by the early afternoon, that's when we'll see those 30s begin to pop in. Now, mostly cloudy skies are to be expected as we still see some of these lingering impacts from the snowstorm that moved in. Now, when I woke up this morning around 1:30, it was still pretty clear outside. But of course, as we get through the day and these temperatures do begin to warm up, these clouds will move back in across South Central. Now, one of the biggest impacts we'll be looking at across the state, not just in South Central, are these very strong winds moving in. So we're mostly seeing these strong winds across the Aleutians, but you may also notice these strong winds all the way up into the North Slope. This is bringing in blizzard conditions across these areas as blowing snow is very likely. Now, Southeast is another area where these strong wind gusts could reach up to 60 miles per hour, mixed with a lot of this rain moving in from this low pressure system that will also continue to bring more wet impacts into South Central. So stay tuned and I'll have more coming up.
Dramatic new video taken Tuesday afternoon on the Glen Highway off Arctic. Ashley Wickberg shot this video while trying to place flares. This is just one example, yeah, look at that, of how this record-breaking snow turned roads across South Central into danger zones. First responders were swamped as cars slid, stalled, and struggled to make it through. Just Tuesday through 4 p.m., police reported 53 accidents. 11 of those left people hurt, and 124 vehicles were left stranded or in distress in the Anchorage area, which left emergency crews spending the day racing from call to call as snow and near zero visibility pushed travel to the edge. Lauren Maxwell reports.
When the snow is coming down like this, driving conditions are never good. We spoke with some longtime Alaskans who agree.
Born and raised, so I don't know how the roads work, but it's still nasty out there.
There's multiple police vehicles and at least 25 cars in the ditch. They're just driving too fast for the conditions.
Police asked drivers to stay off the roads if they could, but said if you have to go, go slow. Not just for yourself, but the people behind you.
Obviously, you need to drive slow enough that you can control your vehicle, you can steer, you can stop, but also you need to be considerate of others around you, that when you're driving fast, you're lofting a lot of that snow up and making it hard to see.
Dozens of vehicles ended up off the road and in the ditch, and plenty of drivers like this man.
I come from Texas, so we don't have this in Texas. And we went the cheap route, got the front-wheel drive, and bam.
Found they needed an extra push. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Just to get out of the parking lot. Longtime Alaskans may take it in stride.
The roads are just, could use some maintenance.
They're hoping with a little patience and lots of plowing, the conditions will eventually improve. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Yikes. Yeah, if you were able to stay home Tuesday, you were lucky. Both the highways, as you can see here, arterial roads and neighborhood roads were difficult to drive. Georgina Fernandez went out to see how those clearing the roads were handling the influx of snow.
Driving conditions were tough for folks on Tuesday as they encountered low visibility in addition to messier road conditions.
Oh boy, this is a big one.
From digging out cars to clearing sidewalks, January's record snowfall left many residents a handful of tasks to do on Tuesday, including plow drivers. According to Snowman LLC, who specializes in commercial and residential properties, their phone has been ringing all day. Before noon, they tell us they had already 100 phone calls. They ask you to practice patience as them and others work on tackling properties.
It's not because he doesn't want to plow you. He's out plowing snow. It takes 2, 3, 4 times as long sometimes to plow properties that have a lot of snow on them. So just, have some grace and give some leeway to people, and hopefully we'll get through the next snowstorm.
And if you're on the road, Snowman LLC asks you to please drive with caution. They tell us they had one of their drivers hit by a vehicle on Tuesday, and they say if you see them on the road, to please give them extra space and also have your head on a swivel. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Road safety also forced a big change for families. The Anchorage School District said most students home 2 hours early Tuesday, with Birdwood as the only exception. Leaders made the call as conditions worsened on area streets. School sports, activities, and rentals were called off as well. For many parents, it meant a midday scramble, but one mom told us she moved fast to make sure all of her kids got home safe.
Yeah, we're just gonna go there and be safe since they get off at 2, but the roads are just so bad.
Okay.
Be safe. Yeah.
Oh, so you're just gonna call it, everybody's going home?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, before we go home, get everybody and then go home all together in one piece.
And if you would have told him to walk in the snow today, what would the reaction be?
Well, he would be okay with it because he loves the snow. I mean, this guy just enjoys this kind of weather.
The transportation team spent the evening checking roads to ensure they're passable and safe for schools to operate normally. While this record snow brought much of the city to a halt on the UAA campus, many students didn't hide from it. They leaned in. As Danny Tompkins discovered, for them, this wasn't a nuisance. It was the Alaska they signed up for.
Now, how do you get to school as a student when there's a record snowfall? Well, if you're a UAA student, you bike through it, drive carefully, and embrace it. After last year's snow drought, students are saying this is what an Alaska winter should look like. While Anchorage schools closed early today, life went on at the University of Alaska Anchorage, at least until 2 o'clock.
I got a message in the gym that campus is closed today around 2 o'clock.
But before the closure, students were busy navigating a campus buried in snow.
I honestly really like snow.
Oh, it was beautiful. I love the snow.
The record January snowfall is even bringing students together.
I thought I was going to make it in there, and I got stuck halfway. And then a couple of students stopped and saw, so they decided to help me.
After last year's snow-starved January, students say this is what an Alaskan winter should look like.
It's honestly just a beautiful blessing to have snow in total, because we could have awful slush and ice.
If I know it was gonna be this tall, I could have skied here.
And take my son and go sledding, tubing, something.
And these students offered up some winter wisdom.
Just try to enjoy the snow, to do something outside, because I think seasonal depression it's real for some people, so it is important to take care of yourself.
Now, most students we talked to today didn't complain, but instead talked about the beauty, blessings, and getting outside. Now, after seeing how much snow came down, that tells you everything you need to know about what it means to live in Alaska. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
In the interior, it's not a question of if it gets harsh, but when and how. Will it be bitter cold that hurts to breathe, or heavy snow that piles up so fast? We asked people in Fairbanks which they would rather deal with, 30 below or a foot of snow. From frozen cars to back-breaking shoveling, residents shared their pick on winter's toughest trade-off.
I think I prefer 30 below.
Snow is easier to drive on than ice.
I would rather have 30 below than snow.
A few feet of snow, I can shovel that, so I prefer that.
We'll still head on the morning edition. A teen from Juneau who was attending the University of Michigan missing since Saturday has been found dead. We speak to those in the area that warn against the cold and conditions that authorities believe likely took his life.
And wet weather is still a likely factor in southern Alaska this week, with colder temperatures moving in everywhere else other than South Central. I'll have more coming up.
Welcome back in. 13 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday morning. You know, Bailey, we were asking folks in the interior what they prefer, 30 below or a foot of snow. What do you think? What do you prefer, the bitter cold or the snow?
Easy. I would much prefer a foot of snow. I don't know how they do it with those temperatures, but they're so tough for that. I could not handle it. And, you know, I did rob the Alaskans this morning of getting a chance to look at those sunrise and sunset times. So here's that sneak peek of those sunrise and sunset times and what you can expect for today. Just another 3 hours or so, and we'll get that beautiful sunrise over Anchorage before cloudy skies do begin to move in. Now, of course, I want to bring up this new record of snowfall that we got yesterday, 7.7 inches, surpassing the previous record from 1992 with 3.6 inches. So that's a fairly significant record. And not only did it bring a single-day snowfall event, but this was also the snowiest January that we have on record. So it's going to be tough to beat this one in the future, but we'll see how the years upcoming will do in comparison. Now, I do want to talk about what we have coming up after we looked at what we've already seen. With our jet stream forecast, low pressure is bringing in lots of cloudy skies, not only for South Central. This low pressure system out in the Bering Sea is also bringing up much colder temperatures all across the western coastline of Alaska. So as we look at this low pressure system affecting southern portions of Alaska, the very tip of this is bringing the shortwave trough into South Central. This is bringing in those cloudy skies again, but not only that, we'll also see a little bit more of that wet weather lingering, mostly for potential of freezing rain, and some areas may still see a few flurries here and there. But otherwise, that freezing rain is really going to be the next biggest impact that we focus on for South Central. You can even see bits and pieces of that low pressure system right here pushing into the Copper River Basin. And not only that, but some of that rain that Southeast can expect moving in just south of Ketchikan. Now into the interior, we do have a little bit of windy conditions moving in, and this is something that we can expect all across the state, even including that high wind warning down south into Southeast, and even those blizzard warnings all across the northern coastline. This is all due to these strong winds moving through as that jet stream and low pressure begin to work together. But this low pressure system right down in the Gulf, that's what's bringing in these windy conditions for the southern portion of Alaska, gusts up to 30 miles per hour into Palmer. It may be a little bit of a windy week. However, these wind gusts are not going to be nearly as strong as what they are in Southeast, up to 50 and even 60 mile per hour gusts. Now, these windy conditions are making their way all the way up into the North Slope at 44 miles per hour in Utqiagvik, and these windy conditions may persist through the day today and even just a little bit into tomorrow. But as we look ahead, more of that wet weather is pushing in. The Copper River Basin is one of those areas that can expect a lot more of this rain to move in. But over in Southeast, that's no comparison. This is where we're seeing more of that moderate to heavy rainfall. However, today is where you'll see a little bit of a break, some of that light rain moving in before that moderate amount begins to shift forward. However, in parts of the interior, more so along Stevens Village, this is an area where you may see some windy gusts pushing in and maybe even some scattered snowfall with about a trace to 2 inches of snow likely. But across the state, you'll see mostly scattered conditions across West Alaska as more of that low pressure system does begin to shift westward, bringing in more of those gusty conditions as well as some branches of that low pressure system. So just take a look at your temperatures statewide. I'll have more coming up.
The body of a Juneau teen attending the University of Michigan was discovered Saturday, missing for over 15 hours in sub-zero temperatures. Jace Bertrand spoke with people in the area to get reaction and uncover what happened to Lucas Mattson.
An Alaska teen was found dead in Ann Arbor on Saturday, hours after being seen walking alone on the University of Michigan campus. Police first reported 19-year-old Lucas Mattson missing on Friday night, in danger due to frigid cold temperatures.
If you think about how cold it's been, that's a long time, and the extreme cold temperatures for somebody not only to be missing, but alone.
Neighbors told Erica Erickson with WDIV in Detroit that Mattson was last seen leaving a party at a fraternity house, wearing only a t-shirt and jeans. Originally from Juneau, Mattson was an engineering student. In a statement to the press, loved ones said, quote, "Our family is devastated by the loss of Lucas. We ask for privacy at this time."
As a parent, as anyone who has loved ones so far away, I can't even imagine how they must have felt or still feel.
The community providing condolences in the wake of Matson's passing.
We spoke to one neighbor and she was heartbroken. She wishes that he hadn't been alone and she urges people to use the buddy system. She was terrified to think of an undergraduate to have been walking alone without a coat, just in a t-shirt, and to have been found like that by himself.
A stark reminder of danger posed by Colt as temps were below zero.
I feel like somebody should have found him, like before he passed away. I think the buddy system definitely should have been used. I know when I go out, me and my roommate always go out together. And I think in that case, like if he had somebody with him, I think that would have been better than being found, alone.
Look out for your friends. They don't care if it's cold out. They don't care what the circumstances are. They don't care. Look out for each other. That's the message right now, regardless if it's a stranger or a friend, too.
Jace Bertrand, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.